की धारा, भारत माँ की सेवा में गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा। ईश्वर भक्ति भाव से बहती संस्कारों की धारा, भारत माँ की सेवा में गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता
संस्कृति का वैभव जग में सबसे न्यारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
भारतीय संस्कृति का वैभव जग में सबसे न्यारा। ज्ञान और विज्ञान यहीं से सबने पाया सारा, सबने पाया सारा। कुछ भूलों से हारा फिर से जीते देश हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
शील सेवा व्रतधारी युवा जगे पुरुषार्थी।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
त्यागशील सेवा व्रतधारी युवा जगे पुरुषार्थी। वैज्ञानिकता विनय सभ्यता स्वभाव हो निस्वार्थी, स्वभाव हो निस्वार्थी। देशभक्ति में तेजस्वी हो फिर समाज यह सारा, गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
शिवाजी बुद्ध गगन के तारे।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
महावीर गोविंद शिवाजी बुद्ध गगन के तारे। परंपरा की पुण्य चेतना उर में हम सब धारे, उर में हम सब धारे। बाल हृदय में उसे जगाकर जगे देश यह सारा, गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
समर्थ बनाओ।
जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ, जय भारत माँ, जय गीता माँ।
त्यागो सारी दुर्बलता को, राष्ट्र समर्थ बनाओ। बंधु भाव समता ममता से सबको गले लगाओ, सबको गले लगाओ। चलो विवेकानंद मार्ग पर, शुभ संदेश हमारा। गीता परिवार हमारा, गीता परिवार हमारा। ईश्वर भक्ति भाव से बहती संस्कारों की धारा। भारत माँ की सेवा में गीता परिवार हमारा, 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 गीता परिवार हमारा।
सद्गुणों की मधुरं हसितं मधुरं हृदयं मधुरं गमनं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
वचनं मधुरं चरितं मधुरं वसनं मधुरं वलितं मधुरं चलितं मधुरं भ्रमितं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
वेणुर्मधुरो रेणुर्मधुराः पाणिर्मधुराः पादौ मधुरौ नृत्यं मधुरं सख्यं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
गीतं मधुरं पीतं मधुरं भुक्तं मधुरं सुप्तं मधुरं रूपं मधुरं तिलकं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
तरणं मधुरं तरणं मधुरं हरणं मधुरं स्मरणं मधुरं वमितं मधुरं शमितं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
कुञ्जा मधुरा माला मधुरा यमुना मधुरा वीथी मधुरा सलिलं मधुरं कमलं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
गोपी मधुरा लीला मधुरा युक्तं मधुरं मुक्तं मधुरं दृष्टं मधुरं शिष्टं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरम्
गोपा मधुरा गावो मधुरा यष्टिर्मधुरा सृष्टिर्मधुरा दलितं मधुरं फलितं मधुरम्
मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं मधुरं मधुराधिपतेरखिलं
है रमण बिहारी के।
रमण बिहारी के।
ठाकुर हमरे रमण बिहारी, हम है रमण बिहारी के।
ठाकुर हमारे रमण बिहारी, हम है रमण बिहारी के।
साधु सेवा धर्म हमारा,
साधु सेवा धर्म हमारा।
साधु सेवा धर्म हमारा।
साधु सेवा धर्म हमारा।
कामन दुनियादारी से,
कामन दुनियादारी से।
कामन दुनियादारी से।
कामन दुनियादारी से।
ठाकुर हमारे रमण बिहारी, हम है रमण बिहारी की।
ठाकुर हमारे मरी, हम है रमण बिहारी के।
ठाकुर हमारे रमण बिहारी, हम है रमण बिहारी की।
ठाकुर हमारे रमण बिहारी, हम है रमण बिहारी के।
साधु सेवा धर्म हमारा,
साधु सेवा धर्म हमारा।
साधु सेवा धर्म हमारा।
साधु सेवा धर्म हमारा।
कामन दुनियादारी से,
कामन दुनियादारी से।
कामन दुनियादारी से।
कामन दुनियादारी से।
ठाकुर हमारे रमण बिहारी, हम है रमण बिहारी के।
ठाकुर हमारे रमण बिहारी, हम
ठाकुर हमारे रमण बिहारी के।
ठाकुर हमारे रमण बिहारी, हम है रमण बिहारी के।
ठाकुर हमारे रमण बिहारी, हम है।
ठाकुर हमारे रमण बिहारी,
हम है रमण बिहारी के।
रमण बिहारी के।
ठाकुर हमरे रमण बिहारी, हम है रमण बिहारी के।
ठाकुर हमारे रमण बिहारी, हम है रमण बिहारी।
सेवा धर्म हमारा
साधु सेवा धर्म हमारा
कामन दुनियादारी से
कामन दुनियादारी
Please make Bhargavi Didi host. Nothing is playing actually. Even I'm trying to resolve. Nothing is playing actually. Bhargavi Didi, are you there? You can unmute yourself.
Didi, 2 minutes, little bit network issue, Didi.
Okay.
Sorry.
Bhargavi Didi, should I start now?
Jay Didi, please start it. Start, Didi.
Jai Shri Krishna, everyone. You all are welcome to the interpretation session of second chapter Sankhya Yoga. In this learning lies the essence of concentrating of the nature and purity of the soul, and also performing one's duty without thought or anticipation of the results. And I would also like to draw everybody's attention and address my heartfelt wishes for the festive celebrations of the Tamil festival Adi Perukku. So those who are celebrating, my best wishes to all those people. Now, with great blessings and grace of Sri Krishna and Param Pujya Guruji Govindev Giriji Maharaj, it is the auspicious time to begin the session with the prayer. I would like to invite Prashali Barveji from Indore for the starting prayer. She used to teach computer sciences, now she's a homemaker. She has interests like music, singing, playing harmonium, rangoli, reading and writing. She's educated as MCom, B.Ed, MCA. She joined Geeta Pariwar in September 24 and at present serving in Geeta Pariwar as co-trainer. Welcome, Vrashali Didi. Jai Shri Krishna.
जय श्री कृष्ण वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं श्रीकृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्.
Thank you, Didi, for the beautiful prayer and beautiful starting of the session. It should be well known that Diya is the prime source of all the shine, brightness, positivity, purity, and hope. It's the time to offer the Diya lighting in the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. For that, I would like to invite Shelja Kalkarji from Navi Mumbai. She joined Geeta Pariwar in 2023. Her hobbies are communication, speaking, and yoga. She's serving as both technical assistant and co-trainer in the Geeta Pariwar. Welcome, Shelja Didi, for the Diya lighting.
निषिद्धैरप्येभिर्लुलितमकरन्दो मधुकरैः करैरिन्दोरन्तश्छुरित इव सम्भिन्नमुकुलः विधत्तां सिद्धिन्नो नयनसुभगामस्य सदसः पुष्पाणां शरदिन्दुनिभां शुभ्रां शुभ्रवस्त्रैरलङ्कृतां कलहंसकृतावासां वरदां शारदा नुमः.
Thank you for this lovely and beautiful diya lighting, Didi. Now, before we start the main session, I have few announcements. First of all, the major announcement is that the new L1 classes are soon to start, and they will be starting from 5th of September. So we should try to connect more and more, rather maximum people in our proximity to these great virtuous classes and spread the knowledge and the pious Geeta in every home and every heart. Another great news I have for everyone, the celebration time of 5-year completion milestone of Learngeeta, it has been extended to 17th of August. Initially, it was, I think, till today, but now it has extended till 17th of August. So it began from 22nd of June, the celebration program. It is such a great opportunity for all of us that we should contribute from our own place with our own capacity to celebrate this wonderful milestone. So you all can spread the word and with all your near and dear ones and let them know that this particular date has been extended for the celebration. Now it's the time that we should get to know about our auspicious speaker of the day. So it is none other than Vikas Vaidya. His qualification is BE Mechanical and PG DBM. He has been an NRI for 12 years. He has traveled the world. He owns a small IT company. He's based in Pune. His languages that he knows, there are many languages like Hindi, Marathi, English, Indonesian, Malaysian, Spanish, etc. Daily, it's his routine that he recites 18th adhyayas of Geeta every day, and this has been his routine since last 5 years. He's a trainer in Geeta Pariwar from L1 to L4. He's involved in the trainer selection and trainers training program from L1 to L4. He's also involved in teaching and the Vivechan sessions of Vishnu Sahasranam as a member of the Pune Geeta Pariwar. He has been guiding Geeta Vratis to prepare for the Shringeri-Peeth Geeta exam. So he has also given Geeta Kantastikaran exam at Shringeri-Peeth. For that, he received the first prize with the hands of none other than Param Pujya Jagat Guru Shankaracharya ji. So this was the great and beautiful elaboration of his all the achievements and his routines. Now I would like to invite Vikas Vaidya for the interpretation session.
Jai Shri Krishna Didi. Sorry for the disturbance. Today Bhaiya's network is little bit in trouble. So first let us listen one bhajan today.
Okay.
Till that Bhaiya will join.
Meanwhile, Bhaiya is joining. It's a very nice time that we should utilize the time to listen to a beautiful bhajan. So Didi will play the bhajan just now.
समर्पण जय श्री कृष्ण।
जय श्री कृष्ण भैया।
तो स्वामी जी के चरण कमलों में कोटि कोटि नमन। We are discussing अध्याय 2, अध्याय 2, Sankhya Yoga. We have completed 2 sessions and we have completed up to shlok number 21 last time. Veda vinashinan nityai ya enamajam avyayam katham sapurashah partha kanghatayati hantikam. Let us continue further. So Paramatma is giving an interesting example about body and soul. वासांसि जीर्णानि यथा विहाय नवानि गृह्णाति नरोपराणि तथा शरीराणि विहाय जीर्णान्यन्यानि संयाति नवानि देहि. Look number 22. Paramatma says, vasansi jirnani. Vasansi, the clothes. Jirnani, the worn out. Yatha, just as vihaya. Vihaya is to give up, to change. Navani, Navani is new, new garments. Grhnati, to accept. Aparani, others. Sharirani, Sharirani is bodies. Vihaya, to give up. Jirnani, something which is old, torn out, useless. Anyani, Anyani is different. Sanyati, to really accept that. Navani is new, we have seen that. Dehi is the embodied people like us. So Paramatma says, as we abandon worn out clothes and acquire new ones, so when the body is worn out, a new one is acquired by the self, by the Atma, by the Dehi, who lives within us. So Vasamsi Jirnani means worn out clothes. See, in those times when Gita was said by Lord Krishna, people owned a few clothes, only as much as essential. Unlike in the modern times, when we are buying out of every visit to malls, whether we need it or we don't need it. We go to the mall and come back with bagfuls of shopping that we do, whether we need or we don't need. So people had limited possessions in those days, as they did not indulge in hoarding. See, possessing more than required is a sign of greed. In my childhood, I might have got 3 or 4 pants or 3 or 4 shirts. Now today children have 10 times of that. Possessing objects just for the sake of ownership is a malady of modern man and women. People are obsessed with amassing wealth, amassing and hoarding objects. And really speaking, how much wealth is required for 2 squares a mile, 2 squares a meal? We need 2 square meals per day, isn't it? So how much wealth do we need for those 2 meals? And even those who have enough wealth that they can have the feast also, not only square meals, but they can have the feast every day, they are also still running and amassing wealth. People at the age of 70 and 80, they still don't want to hand over their business to their children. In this shloka, Shri Krishna is saying to Arjuna that just as worn out clothes are discarded and you put on new garments, likewise, when your body gets old and worn out, it gets discarded and a new body is acquired. See how happy we are to get new clothes. That is why you give away the old clothes to the needy people and then you put on new clothes. Similarly, when your body gets old, worn out, Prakriti takes away the old body, the worn out body. And in due course of time, Prakriti gives you a new body. So it's the question of complaining and grieving. See, now we may say that it is all right that an old worn out body gets discarded. Fine, okay, understood. This concept is understood. And this is valid for Bhishmacharya, Dronacharya, Krupacharya, who were already old. But the likes of Duryodhana, Dushasana, Karna, they were all young and healthy. Their bodies are not worn out. So why an attempt is made to take away their bodies by waging a war against them? When the war breaks, weapons don't discriminate between old and young. Hence, anyone can get killed, whether his body is worn out or is not worn out. Isn't it? So, what is the reason? Yes, there is a reason behind taking away the bodies of the likes of Duryodhana. When a part of body, says a finger, or a toe, or indeed the entire hand or the entire leg gets damaged or infected, as it happens in case of gangrene, the doctor has no option but to cut off that body part. Otherwise, the infection can spread and the whole body may die, isn't it? Similarly, the minds of the likes of Duryodhana had become so diseased that there was no alternative but to take away their diseased minds. And hence, body, as it is intricately linked to the mind, isn't it? Body is intricately, you cannot take out the mind separately. Not possible, no? So Sri Krishna also had tried to change their mind, not that he did not try. Several attempts were made by even Sri Krishna to instill some sense in Duryodhana to avoid the war. But each time Duryodhana had failed to understand. Neither did Karna. Bhishma, Dronacharya, Krupacharya were also bound by their obligation to Duryodhana, so they had no choice but to go along with him. So everybody was helpless because Duryodhana did not want to rethink. Had Duryodhana given up his insistence, or had Karna made some efforts to convince Duryodhana, this war of Mahabharata would not have happened. When Duryodhana heard that Sri Krishna was coming as a messenger of peace from Pandava's side, he got so angry that he asked his guards to arrest Krishna. He went to that extent, to arrest Krishna. But then Krishna was Krishna, Lord of Maya. He cast such a spell on the soldiers that they could not see him. All they could see was a ball of ethereal light. That's all they could see. So nobody could catch Krishna. Let us continue with slok number 23. Paramatma says further, Nainai chindanti shastrani nainandhati pavakaha na chainam kleidayantyāpo na shoshayati marutaha. Further, Paramatma says, Nainai chindanti shastrani nainandhati pavakaha na chainam kleidayantyāpo na shoshayati marutaha. No, no is never, not. Enam means this. This is what? This soul. Chindanti, something which can be cut into pieces. Shastrani is weapons. Enam is the soul. Dahati is to burn. Pavaka is fire, Agni. Kledayanti, to become wet, to become moist. Shoshayati, to dry out. Maruta is wind. So Paramatma says, Atma can neither be cut into pieces by any weapon, nainai chindanti shastrani, nor can it be scorched by fire. Can it burn by fire? No, fire cannot burn it. Nainam dahati pavaka, na chainam kledayantyāpo, neither dampened by water, na shoshayati marutaha. Maruta is wind, so it cannot be desiccated, dried up by wind. So who and what are you really worried for? Rebirth is inevitable. The vast number of desires lurking in your mind will propel you into another birth. And it is undebatable, incontroversial. The force of all your worldly desires will ensure that you are born again. Furthermore, the desires may not necessarily be related to the material world. It may be related to your spiritual evolution. Then it can be the desire of yoga, awakening of Kundali, attainment of Samadhi, desire to become a devotee, desire to fully understand Vedanta. After all, is this all possible in one lifetime? Very difficult, may not be possible. So here Bhagavad Gita says that body will be discarded, but no problem, you will get a new body. Now we may think that it is reassuring that we will get a new body. Very good, good news. But what about our buddhi, our intellect? Will we have the same level of intellect which we have developed with our spiritual sadhana in this life? We have been reading and understanding Gita for last 10, 20 years, and we have attained certain level of intellectual maturity. When the body changes, what happens to this intellectual level that we have earned in this life? The answer is in a simple example. See, if you are painting a picture, imagine you are painting a picture, after a while you get tired. The painting is not yet finished, but you are so tired that you need some rest. So you go to sleep for a few hours. Then you wake up refreshed and get back hurriedly to finish your incomplete painting. Now, will you commence where you had left painting that picture, or whether will you take a new blank canvas and start all over again? Obviously, you will pick up where you had left the incomplete painting, isn't it? Likewise, at whatever stage of spiritual evolution your body got discarded, you will commence your spiritual growth in the next birth from that point when it halted the spiritual sadhana and the body died. Body got the Sukshma Sharir left your body. If you have climbed, say, 2 steps on the ladder of spiritual sadhana, then you'll start from 3rd step onwards in your next life and not from 0. We have discussed this guarantee from Lord Krishna when Lord Krishna has explained to us in the 6th Adhyay, Atma Sanyam Yoga. पार्थ नैवेह नामुत्र विनाशस्तस्य विद्यते नहि कल्याणकृत कश्चित् दुर्गतिं तात गच्छति प्राप्य पुण्यकृतान् लोकान् निषित्वा शाश्वती समाः शुचीनां श्रीमताङ्गेः योग भ्रष्टो विजायते. So slok 40 to 45 in 6th Adhyay Atma Sanyam Yoga give a guarantee to us. This explains that whatever good karma we do in this life never goes best. Another thing is certain, that the sadhak will never be born into such a family where he does not get an environment conducive for his spiritual upliftment. We are all fortunate that we have started marching on the path of Bhagavad-Gītā and moksha. Next birth, we are guaranteed to get a family where we will continue this spiritual sadhana. We will not be born in some Tom, Dick, Harry's family. We will get a good family, guaranteed by Krishna in 6th Adhyay, and now also. So such a sadhak devotee will not be born in a family where indulgence in liquor or womanizing is a normal way of life. In fact, Geeta vouches that the seeker, the devotee, shall always be reborn in a righteous, spiritually inclined family. Death is the nature of body. Hence, don't worry about it, Krishna says. It is identification with the body which is the reason why you regard the death of body as your own death. And as long as you regard body as your identity, you will be unable to experience the meaning of this shloka of Bhagavad Gita. This says, death cannot touch you, who you really are. You are the soul, you are the Atma, and death cannot touch Atma. This shloka is commonly read in all Hindu families whenever there is a death in the family. A Pandit is called and he reads the death-related shlokas. This means these shlokas are read only at the time of somebody's death, not otherwise. Moreover, who listens to Pandit's recitation when he is reciting these shlokas when the dead body is lying there? Is the dead body listening? Not possible, no? Relatives are listening. The relatives are so gripped by such intense grief that they are in no state of mind to listen. And other friends, relatives, guests who have come for mourning, are they listening? They are engaged in their own talks. So who is listening all this? Sri Krishna is asking Arjuna who he is worried for. And we should also ask this question to ourselves. Whom we are really worried for? Our friends and relatives' bodies or our own body? Well, these bodies are going to die anyway. Bodies are perishable. It is inevitable. And as far as you are concerned, you in inverted commas, there is nothing to worry about. Because this you is immortal, eternal, everlasting, indestructible. So what are we worried about? And as we discussed in last session, we have changed millions of times this body. So this is going to change one more time. Whatever has happened millions of times, we should not be surprised about it when it happens once more, isn't it? So don't grieve. Krishna is again repeatedly telling Arjuna, don't grieve for these bodies. Bodies are perishable. You are imperishable. Atma is imperishable, what you really are. Okay, let us continue to the slok number 24, which is also on the similar lines. Achedyo yamadayo yam akledyo shosha evacho nitya sarvagatasthanu rachalo yam sanatana. Further, Paramatma says, Achedyo yamadayo yam akledyo shosha evacho nitya sarvagatasthanu rachalo yam sanatana. Achedya, unbreakable. Ayam is this soul. Vadayam, unable to burn. Akledya, cannot be wetted, cannot be made moist. Ashosha, cannot be dried up. Nitya, everlasting. Sarvagata, all pervading. Sthanu, unchangeable. Achala, immovable. And Sanatana, eternally the same. The Lord Krishna says, Atma cannot be pierced or cleaved. It cannot be burned. It cannot be wetted. And it cannot be dried either. Atma is eternal, immortal, everlasting, all-pervading, and always the same. There is no vikar, no change in the Atma, no modification in the Atma. Atma is impenetrable. Now, even if someone pierces a knife in our body, know that it is not penetrating you. But it will be able to remember this knowledge that you are not this body, but you are that Atma, which cannot be pierced. At such trying moments, when this really happens in our life, can we remember this knowledge? When the body is undergoing intense pain of somebody piercing the knife in the body, can we remember this knowledge? Very difficult. Because as long as there is attachment to the body, you will be unable to apply this knowledge in your day-to-day life. That is why just reading or listening to these shlokas is not enough. Meditate, meditate, and meditate even more, so that you will get the experience of being separate from the body. This is a matter of experiencing, not reading or not listening. You need to practically experience this theoretical knowledge. Getting theoretical knowledge is good, but to put it in practical things is more essential, and that can come through meditation only. Then the difference between Atma and body distinctly clear when we enter into meditation. But Atma is indestructible, insoluble, unbreakable. It can neither be burned or it cannot be dried. Atma is free of all afflictions, because these melodies of afflictions are limited to the mind. See, there are 5 mental afflictions: raga, dvesha, abhinivesha, parigraha, and avidya. Raga, what is raga? Raga is commonly taken as attachment, but it means much more than that. It means that you have forgotten your real identity and you hold on to your body tightly, regarding it as I, and everything and everyone related to this body as mine, mine, mine. This clinging to your own body so very tightly is raga. You are attached not to any you are attached not to anyone but your own body. This is raga. What is dvesh? Dvesh literally means aversion or revulsion. But if you go deeper into it, dvesh means running away from your own self. You get close to what you are not, that means our body, and you run away from what you really are, that means your soul. This is rag and dvesh in ourselves, and we should get rid of this rag and dvesh. Abhinivesh. What is abhinivesh? Abhinivesh is the desire to leave, and parigraha is the tendency to hold, to accumulate, to amass more and more. That is parigraha. And the fifth mental affliction is avidya. This is the subtlest and the root cause of all other mental afflictions. Presence of avidya, avidya means ignorance, leads to attachment, aversion, hoarding, desire to live. Everything gets emanated from this avidya, from this ignorance. So when you really start experiencing after years of meditation that you are not body, and irrespective of whether the body lives or dies, there is no change in my essential nature, that means the Atma, which I am really, then will there be any desire to live? When you know that Atma is not going to die, then will there be any desire to live? The enlightened one is neither elated with the prospect of living hundreds of years, nor get distressed if his body were to drop the next moment. He is safe in both situations because he knows that what is born and dies is the body, not the soul. Sri Krishna says that not only is that Atma immortal, eternal, but also all pervasive and indivisible. Jiva keeps wandering, driven by anger, lust, greed, and whatnot. But Atma is steadfastly established, unmoving, has neither birth nor death, neither merit or demerit, no heaven, no hell, coming, going, no. So these are the characteristics of Atma. Paramatma is explaining in different words again. Vasansa jirnani, nainan chindanti shastrani, achedyo yamadayoyam. Principally telling the same. Body is perishable, Atma is not. We are body. We are imperishable. We are not. Let us proceed on to Shnyakto Yamachintyo Yamachate Taso Yamachate Vainan Nanu Shochito Marhasi. What does it mean? Avyakta. Avyakta is invisible, unmanifested. Ayam is this soul. Achintya, inconceivable. Avikarya, unchangeable, no modification in it. Uchyate is said. Tasmat, therefore, that's why. Evam, like this. Viditva, knowing it well. Enam is the soul. Anushochati arhasi. Anushochati, to grieve, to lament. Arhasi, you deserve. So it is not correct. Paramatma says that Atma is inexpressible. It is avyakta, incomprehensible, achintya, imitable, and without afflictions. Therefore, Arjuna, knowing this Atma as it really is, it is not appropriate for you to grieve. Arjuna is seeing Krishna's body. Krishna is sitting in front of him, driving his chariot. So Arjuna is having a look at Krishna's body and listening to his words. That his body is also the body of Sri Krishna and everyone else's birth. Isn't it? Can we see Krishna today in body? Whatever is manifest is a part of Prakriti. Shri Krishna, that is a body one.
Jai Shri Krishna, everyone. There is, I think, some connectivity issue at Bhaiya's end. So Meanwhile, we'll have to wait for some time more while Bhaiya reconnects. Once again, yeah, I think Bhaiya has reconnected.
Effort was made to find that goat number 3, but the goat could only be found if it actually existed. That day, everyone was worried except Laksha and Hridaya. They knew what had happened. They both had never been in searching for the goats. And master, his name was Bokuju. Every morning, he would shout his name loudly and he will ask, Bokuju, are you there? And then he himself would reply back saying that, yes, master, I'm there. Enlightened masters, they regard their body, mind, intellect as the tools given by Paramatma, by Prakriti for spiritual sadhana, and then they express their gratitude every day that the tools are still intact. The clay pot is still not broken, and they express their gratitude to Paramatma by doing this. See, grief is only as long as you are attached to your body. For it is this bodily attachment which gives rise to the attachments who are related to that body. Due to ignorance, we regard this body as I. And once this I appears, it is soon followed by mine. I and mine are intimately linked to each other. This I and mine are the source of grief and misery. It is your ego which says that those who belong to you should do as you say. Your wife, your children should do what you say, what you expect from them. And when this does not happen, you suffer. And then we keep constantly searching for something in the life, as if something is missing in the life. We constantly keep searching, no? Because we are not all happy. We keep searching for something in life. Just say, each one of us is searching for something in life. But what is that we are searching for? What we are seeking? A small story. There were two boys, Hridaya and Laksha. Hridaya and Laksha. They were two very mischievous friends. They were both in the 5th standard and used to go to school every day. One day when the school was over, this Laksha was more mischievous of the two. He said to his friend Hridaya, listen, I have an idea. What is that? Tell me. His friend Hridaya, he asked him. Laksha said, look, there are 3 goats grazing there. Can you see them? He said, yes, I can see 3 goats. So what is that you have in mind? Laksha said, today we'll stay back after the school, and after everyone leaves, we will get hold of these 3 goats and leave them inside the school. Tomorrow when the school opens, everyone will waste their time in searching for the goats and we won't have the study. No class, because everyone is searching for the goats. There his friend said, but finding such big goats inside the school is not a difficult task. They will find them quickly and then everyone will be back to the normal. Then people will say, okay, go to the class. So your idea may not work. It's not workable. Laksha says, that is the point. They won't be able to find them so easily. Just watch what I am doing now. And after this, both the friends continued to sit on their class on the pretext that they are still studying after the school time. When everyone left the premises, they caught hold of those 3 goats and brought them inside the class. They made a black circle on the back of those goats, and Laksha said, now I'll put the numbers on these goats. So what he did, he started writing the number in white color, black circle and white color writing the name. Number 1 on the first goat, number 2 on the second goat, number 4 on the third goat. Number 4. Hey, what are you doing 4? This number, goat number 3. Why you put number 4? His friend asked him. So Laksha laughed and he said, friend, that is my great idea. Here tomorrow, everyone spent whole day searching for that goat numbered 3. And no one will find out because that goat does not exist. Goat number 3 does not exist. Next day, both the friends reached the school well, a little before time. And within no time, there was a noise that there are goats inside the school. Somebody was heard shouting, "There are 4 goats. The first, second, and fourth goats I have found. Now we have to find only the 3rd goat." All the staff members of the school looking for goat number 3. The teachers went down each class searching thoroughly. The school building was big. Some daring ones even went up to the terrace in search of goat number 3. Many of the senior students were also engaged in this work to find goat number 3. A lot of effort was made to find that goat number 3, but the goat could only be found if it actually existed. That day, everyone was worried except Laksha and Hridaya. They knew what had happened. They both had never been so happy before in their life. That our trick has worked so well. After all, that day they had made a goat invisible with their cleverness. Now it is natural for us to smile when we listen to this story. But along with this smile, we must also understand a hidden message in this story. The 3rd goat, in fact, there are things which we are desperate to find, but we never find them because they don't exist. We want an ideal life without problems, which does not exist. Goat number 3. We want a life partner who understands us completely, with whom we never have a rift, which never exists. Goat number 3. We want such a business or job in which everything runs smoothly and perfectly, which never exists. Goat number 3. So it is necessary to be worried about something all the time. Are we searching for that goat number 3 all the while in our life? It may be possible that whatever we have in our lives is enough to make our life complete. But we unnecessarily think that goat number 3 is missing. It is all possible that the 3rd thing we are looking for may not exist in reality. And what we really are is perfect already. So forget the past. Live in the present to the fullest, and the future will shine on its own. Don't start searching for something which really does not exist. Be clear what you want in life and search only that. Don't search something which is not known to you also, which is not possible also, which does not exist also. Okay, let us proceed to slok number 27. जातस्य हि ध्रुवो मृत्युर्ध्रुवै जन्ममृतस्य च तस्माद् परिहार्येऽर्थे न त्वं शोचितुमर्हसि. Now Paramatma is saying the same thing. That jatasya hi dhruva mrityur janmamritasya cha. Dhruva means certain. Fact. It is a fact. Jatasya, one who has taken the birth. Dhruva, a fact is mrityu, death. Dhruvam, it is also a fact. Janma is birth, we know. Tasmat, therefore, apariharya, something which is unavoidable. Arthe, in this matter, shochitum arhasi, no reason to be sad about this. The Paramatma says, because death is sure for that which is born, jatasya hi dhruvam mrityur janmamritasya. So similarly, even the birth of the dead is certain. Therefore, you should not grieve for something which is unavoidable, inevitable. In this shloka, God is explaining the irrationality of grieving for the inevitable change, which is the universal law of the world, Prakriti. And changelessness is the law of soul. So only the ignorant will grieve for the inevitable and not the wise one. Karma bandhan, the bondage of action, is the cause of birth and death. Karma bandhan means, despite knowing that certain actions should not be performed, but we still perform them due to greed, lust, or attachment. Therefore, the vicious circle of birth and death continues because of karma bandhan. To become actionless is near impossibility. God himself has said, Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishtatya karma krut. The man's body or mind cannot remain without performing karma even for a single moment. Therefore, there appears to be no escape route because karma cannot be avoided and karma are putting under the bondage. But Gita has a way out. Gita says, Nishkam karma and surrendering the results of your karma action to the God are the ways to get rid of this cycle of birth and death. We discussed in last session the necessity of removing those two poisonous teeth. Which two poisonous teeth? One poisonous tooth was karma phala expectation, and second poisonous tooth was kartatva abhiman, the sense of doership. To make karma presentable to the God, we have to remove these two poisonous teeth. And certainly the determined and devoted people succeed in this pursuit. Now let us discuss one more important aspect, since we are talking of birth and rebirth and all sorts of things. Children they come from their parents. This is a fact. Children are given birth by their parents. Fine. Khalil Gibran has said that children are born from you, but they don't belong to you. Every child is on his own journey as a result of his desires and past samskars. Yes, it is true that the DNA makeup of the child comes from the parent. You can cross verify DNA of parents and child. It will confirm that he is a child of these parents, but not the mind. The mind has not been devised by parents. Yes, it would have been wonderful if they could design the child's mind as well. Then the child of an enlightened master would be born as enlightened person. But this is not the case. History is full of such examples. Even Lord Shri Krishna's children were incompetent. They fought each other to death in the Yadevi. Guru Nanak's sons were his most vehement detractors. His sons berated him for having passed on the Guru's seat, that is called Gadi, to his deserving disciple instead of to his sons. So the sons made his life miserable. In case of Guru Ramdas, his son Prithi Chand, he revolted against Guru Ramdas himself. And in fact, he caused the death of his brother Arjun Dev. The siblings of Sharda Devi, the spouse of Ramakrishna Paramahans, who was the Adhyatmic Guru of Swami Vivekananda, they were vicious and wicked and made the life of Sharda Devi miserable in a that is why Guru knowledge cannot be attained without individual efforts. For example, Nanda and Devaki, who raised Krishna, were they enlightened? Because they raised Krishna, they became enlightened. Were the gopis playing with Krishna got enlightened? Did Krishna's relatives, all of them, did they get liberation, moksha, just because they were Krishna's relatives? Arjuna alone got benefited. And even he did not attain supreme knowledge easily. Otherwise, why would Lord Krishna have to go on speaking for 18 adhyayas? He already has imparted the real knowledge in this second adhyay, Sankhya Yoga. Was there any need to say anything more than this? If Arjuna would have clearly understood all the shlokas of this adhyay that we have discussed in this session and earlier last two sessions, all his doubts about body, soul would have been clarified, isn't it? And he would have happily agreed to wage the war. But no, Shri Krishna continues to speak till 18th adhyay. And we are still only in second adhyay. Because he saw the clouds of confusion and ambiguity hanging on the mind of Arjuna. We need to learn Gita from the small incidences in our day-to-day life. This will help us in reaching our ultimate objective of the life. We need to learn the technique of rerouting our actions in our day-to-day life and our actions to reach our ultimate objective, ultimate destination of Atma-Dhyan, self-realization. Now, do you know any person who has never committed a mistake in his life? At least I don't know. A small story. I, along with my 15-year-old daughter, this happened a few years back, we went out on my scooter to visit one of her friend's house, my daughter's friend's house, on a Sunday afternoon. Neither of us myself or my daughter, were familiar with the address of her friend's house. So my daughter, she entered her friend's address on the Google map in her mobile and guided me from behind. She was sitting behind me when I was driving the scooter. Soon we were faced with a dilemma. We reached a flyover. Now whether to go over the flyover or take the service road. So we chose to take the flyover. A few minutes later, my daughter tapped me on my shoulder from the back and said, Daddy, we seem to be moving away from the destination. Earlier you were showing some time, now it is showing more time. I immediately stopped my scooter. We did not want to turn around because we were nearly down the flyover already by that time. But to our surprise, the Google Map app immediately rerouted and showed us a brand new route to our destination. And there we were, back on track with our ride. I drove, and my curious daughter, she inquired, Daddy, I wonder how this Google auntie never yells, condemns, or criticizes us when we happen to make a wrong turn. It never raises its voice, and it never says, you were supposed to take a left turn at the last crossing, but you idiot, you took the right turn. It never says like that. Or it never says, learn to pay attention to me when I'm talking. Listen to my instructions. Clear? Never says like that. Never raises its voice. Because if it did that, the chances are a lot of us might stop using that Google map, saying that, oh, this is very arrogant. We don't use Google. Instead, Google simply reroutes and shows us the next best way to get to our destination, totally ignoring the mistakes that we have done. Because its primary interest lies in getting us to reach our destination, our goal, and not in making us feel bad for having made the mistakes. It's a great lesson. My daughter continued saying that, Daddy, is it possible for all of us to be as helpful as this Google auntie? Is it reasonable for us to expect the same kindness from those around us? What my daughter actually said made a lot of sense to me at that moment. And I learned a lesson that day, a very important lesson, that it is all too easy to take out our frustration, our anger on the individuals who have made a mistake, especially those who are near to us or whom we are familiar with. However, the wisest choice would be to help them, to aid them in fixing the problem and not to blame them, because indeed, in the end, we are all just walking each other home, helping each other in a lifelong journey to our ultimate destination. In spirituality, our ultimate destination is moksha. Now think, have you had any rerouting moment recently wherein you had such clarity of thoughts? Can we learn a lesson from this? Not to get angry even if people make mistakes around us. So from such small incidences in life also, we can get a lot of teachings which are in line with Bhagavad-Gītā. So we can correlate the incidences in our day-to-day life with some appropriate shloka of Bhagavad-Gītā. So it enriches our knowledge of Gita and it enriches our day-to-day life also. As Pujya Swamiji says, Gita padhe padhaye aur जीवन में लाए. This is the way to bring Gita in our day-to-day life. We make mistakes and learn from them, and that is all the part of the reach journey. Every thought and every action will contribute. That is what we should take the approach. Okay, let us continue with Shlok 28 now. Paramatma says, Avyaktadini bhutani vyaktamadhyani bharato avyaktanidhananyeva tatraka paridevana. Further, Paramatma says, Avyaktadini bhutani. Avyakta adini. Avyakta is unmanifested. Unmanifested form is avyakta. Adini, in the beginning. Bhutani, all living beings. Vyakta. Vyakta is the manifested form which all of us can see. Madhyani, in the middle. Bharat. Bharat is for Arjuna, of course. Avyakta unmanifested, nidhanani. Nidhan is nidhan, dead, vanquished. Tatra, therefore, paridevana, sadness, grieving. Ka paridevana, why to become sad, why to grieve? So Paramatma says, O Bharata, Arjuna, in the beginning, that means before birth, all beings, that means all embodied people are unmanifested in the beginning before birth. It is only in the mid state that they are manifested. Again, in the end, after death of their body, they become unmanifested. Where is the reason, therefore, to grieve? Ka paridevana? See, all the five elements, Panchamabhuta, earth, water, fire, air, and space, have gross and subtle presence. Gross and subtle. The subtle facet is referred as Panchamatra, and the gross aspect is known as Panchamabhuta. Likewise, the destruction of universe is nothing but reverting back elements to their subtle existence. The cycle of elements continues from formless to form and then again to formless. Shri Krishna is explaining to Arjuna, therefore, before this body is born, it existed as subtle formless elements, earth, water, air, fire, air, and space. With the birth, this body becomes visible, manifest, as the elements are in their gross form. Earlier they were in subtle form, so it was unmanifested. Now they are in their gross form, so they are manifested. But as soon as the body is cremated after death, it is reduced to a handful of ash. The 5 or 6 foot tall person, the body is reduced to no more than a handful of ash and wish to get dispersed in water or in the earth. Then where is the body gone? The body which was weighing so much and height was so much, where it is gone? All that has happened is that the manifest, visible body has become unmanifest, invisible. This is the consequence of 5 elements that constitute our body returning to their unmanifested existence. So the elements and the body constituting of these elements is something gross, visible, manifest, and at other times it is subtle, invisible, and unmanifest. Then the question is, if only the form is changing from gross to subtle and subtle to gross, who is dying? Who dies then? And what dies? Only form has changed, no? Who has died then? Nothing. Nothing is the answer. Nothing has died. Nobody has died. All that occurs is the unification of these elements comprising the body with their universal counterpart. The air elements merges with the universal air, Panchamabhuta. The water elements with the universal water, another Panchamabhuta, and so on. Neither the 5 elements nor the subtle body, Sukshma Sharir, neither the 5 pranas nor the Atma, none of these die. The 5 prana which earlier existed in the body later exist outside the body. Likewise, the subtle body, Sukshma Sharir, what we discussed in the last session also, and the Jiva, which were earlier residing in the body, later leave the body. Sukshma Sharir and Jiva, they leave the body. And the Atma, eternal, immortal. So what is death then? So why keep crying and shedding tears? Only place of residence has changed. Another example is a wave arises in the 5 elements forming this body. This Panchamabhuta, imagine a wave appears, arises in these 5 elements forming the body, and later the wave subsides back into these 5 elements. This is like a wave arising in the ocean and then merges back in the ocean. So will you say that the water was born in the form of wave? Water was water. A wave is simply a form of water. Irrespective of whether waves are present or waves are absent, water remains water. Then what is the chest beating and crying for? Water is water. The 5 elements which were gross become subtle. Where is the question of crying then? Subtle is going to become gross one day. Sri Krishna says, in the beginning, your body was unmanifest, then it became manifest in the interim, but it will again become unmanifest when it perishes. Manifestation of body is for a brief period of time, and you regard this interim occurrence as true and remaining everything as untrue. What is this? And grieve for it. My dear Arjuna, awaken and see through this illusion, this great lie. This is only the interim period of your jiva. When the body is manifested, the rest of the time it is already unmanifested only. So understand this cycle, manifest, unmanifest, manifest, unmanifest. And don't grieve. Okay, we go to next sloka, 29. आश्चर्यवत् पश्यति कश्चिदेनम् आश्चर्यवद् वदति तथैव चान्यः आश्चर्यवच्चैनमन्यः शृणोति श्रुत्वाप्येनं वेद न चैव कश्चित्. Now another interesting shloka of Gita. Paramatma says, Ascharyavat, as amazing. Pashyati, Pashyati is to see, to experience. Kashchit, Kashchit is someone. Ascharyavat, again amazing. Shrunoti, Shrunati is to hear. Shrutva is to, Shrunati is to hear. Shrutva, having heard. Veda, Veda is to know. Kashchit, someone. So Paramatma says, Ascharyavat Pashyati Kashchidenam, Ascharyavat Chanya, Ascharyavat Manya Shrunoti, Shrutva Penam Vedana Chaiva Kashchit. Some persons, they see, it means they experience this soul as a wonder. Ascharyavat Pashyati. Similarly, someone else talks about it as wonderstruck. Somebody hear it as a wonder. And some even hearing about it knows nothing about it. Vedana Kashchit. Nobody knows about it. They hear, they see, they experience, everything is happening. But still, nobody knows it, what exactly soul is. Some scholars, on the basis of bookish knowledge, and some other people, on the basis of hearsay, talk about the soul in various wondrous and wonderful ways. But the soul knowledge is rare, a very difficult achievement. Soul can never be understood by book or by verbal knowledge. It is a matter of deep devotion and ardent sadhana. Once known, it's always there. The knower becomes a Brahmajnani, the knower of all, one who knows the soul. The crux is seeing, listening, talking does not help in self-realization. God and Guru's blessings through sadhana is the only path. That is why God has said in 7th Adhyay, Manushyanam sahasreshu kashchidati siddhe madhap siddhana kaschinma vet tattva. Only one among millions know me really. Even initially when Guru explains the meaning of this, I mean this Atma related shlokas, what we have been studying for last 2-3 sessions, the sadhak or the devotees go completely baffled. What is Nayanan Chindanti? What is Avyakta Dini Bhutani? All that. And they get bewildered and find it difficult to grasp what somebody is explaining to us. See, our Guru who is explaining all this in a small cup of our intellect is very small, no? Very limited. So in a small cup of intellect, the Guru is trying to pour an ocean of profound knowledge, supreme knowledge. And our limited intellect is unable to absorb it. So what is the way out? Read Gita every day. Do this contemplation of these shlokas every day. Then this small cup will become large and this ocean of knowledge will start trickling in our intellect slowly but surely. Slowly but surely. But it is heartening for us to know that we are not the only ones who have not understood what Atma is. Shri Krishna is sharing our amazement, saying that not many people, nobody knows what is Atma. So Krishna is with us. He says, yes, nobody knows. Don't worry. Don't feel bad. Only a handful of people listen to this knowledge, and further, even after listening, they still don't comprehend what is Atma, what is soul. We need to qualify ourselves first. We need to qualify first, and then the position then the knowledge will come to us on its own. Without preparation, we are expecting we should have the knowledge. That's not possible. No? So we need to qualify ourselves first. What is qualify? A small story again. One rich man, he built a grand temple in the middle of the village. When the temple was ready, a large number of devotees started arriving at the temple every day to pray, to offer their prayers. Seeing the grandeur and beauty of the temple, the people started praising it all over. Kya temple hai, badhiya. With the passage of time, the temple becomes very popular. People from all over the places started arriving at the temple to worship and admire its beauty. Seeing the increasing number of devotees, the rich man, he made arrangements for food and lodging and boarding of those devotees in the temple complex itself. Now, this wealthy man needed a person who could oversee all the arrangements in the temple. So he put up a notice outside the temple saying that need an administrator. Seeing the notice, many people started coming to him. People knew that this temple is very rich now. So many people coming here every day. And the job of administrator, you will get a good salary. That is what people started imagining. But the rich man returned each applicant after the interview saying that I need a suitable person for the job who can manage the temple properly. Since he was rejecting everyone's application who turned up for the job every time, many people started calling him a fool, a lunatic person. Pagal hai aadmi, something like that. But he did not pay heed to that, anyone's comments. And he kept on looking for a person to manage the temple. The man would sit on the terrace of his house every day, which was by the side of the temple only, watching the devotees coming to the temple. One day he saw a very poor man with coming to the temple complex wearing torn clothes. When the poor man came out of the temple, the rich man called him, Idhar. And he said, will you take care of all arrangements of this temple? The poor man was baffled. He was very surprised to hear this. And he replied with folded hands, I am very poor man. I am not even well educated. How can I handle such a big temple? The wealthy man smiled and he said, I don't want any learned man to manage the temple. I want to hand over this arrangement to a qualified man. The poor man got confused. He said that, am I qualified? Among all the devotees, why do you consider me worthy person to manage this? He said, I know you are worthy. It is ego. I left one corner of the brick sticking out of the ground purposely. I have been keeping a watch for many days. A lot of people stumbled on that piece of brick. Many people even fell down. But no one ever thought of removing that piece of brick from there. You did not stumble on that brick. Still, when you saw it, you thought of removing it from there. I saw. You took a shovel from the labor there, dug up that piece and leveled the ground again so that nobody stumbles, nobody falls down. The poor man said, I have not done something great. Every man should think of others and remove the obstacles in his way. I did the same way, no? I only did what was my duty. Those who know their duty are the people. It is handed poor man. Spirituality on a regular basis. To rise above. But either we don't understand those opportunities or we ignore those. Whatever we do, we must excel, and that has nothing to do with our ego. Okay, let us continue with slok number 30 now. Dehi nityamavadhyo yandehe sarvasya bharata tasmat sarvani bhutani natvam shochitumarhasi. Natvam shochitumarhasi. Natvam shochitumarhasi. Paramatma is again and again saying, don't grieve, don't grieve, don't grieve. Dehi. Dehi means the owner of this material body. Jivatma, soul. Nityam, eternal. Avadhya, cannot be killed. Ayam, this soul, dehe, in the body. Sarvasya, of everyone. Tasmat, therefore, Sarvani is all Bhutani, all living entities, all beings, Shuchitum Arasi. No need to grieve. So Paramatma says, Oh Arjuna, oh Bharata, this soul in everybody's body is beyond destruction. Therefore, you should not grieve for any person. The soul being eternal and indestructible soul in a temporary body. One is permanent. What is permanent? We have to leave what is temporary, Therefore, there is no reason to grieve and sorrow. The indestructible is bound to end and die, and the destructible is bound to die and end, and the indestructible will always be there. So why worry? So the basic principle Krishna is again emphasizing is soul is eternal, body is destructible. Realizing soul should be the prime objective of human life. Let's proceed on to slok number 31 now. Paramatma says in slok 31, स्वधर्ममपि चावेक्ष न विकम्पितुमर्हसि धर्म्याद्युद्धश्रेयोऽन्यक्षत्रियस्य न विद्यते. Now Paramatma will change the track again. Sri Krishna says, Swadharma, one's own duties. Aveksha, considering. Vikampitum, to hesitate. Dharmyat, for your dharma, for your duty. Looking at your own dharma, Arjuna, or your duty, the dharma means duty, you cannot afford to waver. Because for a Kshatriya, nothing can be more welcome and beneficial than a dharma yuddha, the righteous war. Now, Shri Krishna, having elaborately spoken on soul and body in so many shlokas that we have been studying, is changing the track to convince Arjuna that he needs to rethink his decision of not fighting the war. Scriptures have laid down the duties of various classes of people. These duties are obligatory for those classes. A Kshatriya's duty is to uphold the dharma, participate in a righteous war, and never show back in the battlefield. That is his duty. To run away from battlefield is a blemish for a Kshatriya. The word dharma means the duty. God has defined duties of various classes in the 18th Adhyay. Brahmana Kshatri Visham Shudrana Inja Parantapa Karmani Prabhavaktani Svavav Prabhairgunaihi Yakshamadati Shaucham Madroho Natimanita Bhavanti. These are the systems there. But in 18th Adhyay, Paramatma has said this Brahman Kshatri Visham Shudrana Inja Parantapa, and the duties of these classes, Brahman Kshatri. Now, Arjuna was brought up in a family of warriors. It is dharma as a Kshatriya, saying that since childhood you have received the training in warfare as a Kshatriya, including the training to defend the kingdom. If needed, then even give up your life to protect it. Your duty is to wage the war. Your duty is to wage the war. And in no way can you allow grief and or attachment to distract you from your duty, from your dharma. In a way, Krishna is chiding Arjuna, saying that, do you think you are wiser than me, Arjuna? The decision for war has been taken after much deliberation. You know about it. Now, when we are on the battlefield, you cannot turn back. If the reason for your withdrawing from war is overwhelming grief and attachment, I have already explained to you in details that the body is mortal, bound to change and perish, whereas Atma is changeless, immortal. Then what is there to grieve? So many times I have explained you the same fact. I think enough for the day. Let us stop here. And now the forum is open for your questions. Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna. Thank you, Bhaiya, for such a wonderful, inspiring session and all your teachings and wonderful examples that you have given. An enlightening session. Now, I would like those who want to ask the questions, kindly raise your hands. Please raise your hands, those who want to ask some questions. And open the video also. Yes. Charan Bhaiya. Yes. Bhaiya, unmute yourself. Charan Bhaiya. Yes. Yes, Charan Bhaiya. Unmute
Yeah,
yourself.
Please go ahead with your questions.
Yes, Charan Bhaiya is having question.
It
Yeah.
is audible.
Yeah. You're audible Bhaiya. Yeah, please ask.
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা মানে স্যার told the next in the next janma
Yeah.
it is a human life. Next there is no guarantee that we will get the human form, and
Yes.
then how the karma will be, how the it will our mind and sanskara and other buddhi etc. how will be transmitted to the next um, life. If you will not get the human life, how it will be realized there?
Okay, I get your question. Now, you see, when we do any karma, for example, we are doing this karma at present of listening to the Gita Vivechan. This is also a karma. This is sattvic karma, isn't it? This is a good karma, sattvic karma. So every small bit of karma that we perform throughout our life, one imprint of that karma, it goes and sits in one of the three boxes that are there in our sukshma sharir, our subtle body. Our subtle body, which we carry to our next life, is having three baggages. One bag of sattvic karma, second bag of rajasi karma, and third bag of tamasi karma. So at the end of life, when the life ends and the sukshma sharir carries these three full bags to the next life, it depends on the size of these three bags. If sattvic bag is big, our next life will be in a sattvic family. We take birth in a sattvic family and start our journey from there on. If rajasi is big, then accordingly that way. So this is how the next life is decided by us based on our present karmas, our present samskars. Samskar is what? Every karma is adding to your samskar, either good or bad. Isn't it? Either we are getting good samskar on us or bad samskar. And these samskars will decide what kind of life we are going to live in the next life. So this is how we go to the next life. We are deciding our future now. We are writing our own future now with our own hands, with our own karmas.
And how many percentage is required for human life? Percentage of karma for percentage, so that we can, it is guaranteed that we will get human life.
Yeah. See, as I said, in 14th Adhyay we say, Urdhvam gachanti sattvastaha madhye tishtanti rajasaha jagannyagundavattistaha adho gachanti tamasaha. If you are sattvic and you leave the body when you are doing sattvic karma, urdhva, that means you go up, celestial board. If you are doing so, sattva and rajasa and tamo are in equal form, then madhye tishtanti rajasa. Then we again come back to human life. If we are worse, then we go to adho gachanti. Then we go to the lower species, creatures. Maybe somebody becomes a cockroach or an ant or a lizard, something like that.
Because in your life we're doing bad work, also good work. But how it is measured?
See, that is the reason. No, that is the reason we study Bhagavad-Gītā, to know Daivasur Sampad Vibhaga Yoga, to know whether we are having more of Daivi Guna or more of Asuri Guns. The purpose of reading Gita and understanding Gita is this only, that we need to do self-study, Swadhyay, to know where we stand, Paramatma's expectations are all this, what is he has mentioned in the Gita. But in line with his expectations, where do we stand? Do we have more of Daivi Guna or more of Asuri Guna? Honestly, if we make our own analysis, in Devasur Sampat Vibhaga Yoga, the first 3 shlokas only, Avayam Satta Samshaddhir Jnana Vyavasthi Nanandamashchedeshat Swadhyastha Varjan. The first 3 shlokas, they describe 26 Daivi Sampatti, Daivi Gunas. And remaining all shlokas are explaining the Asuri Guna. So we need to compare. Abhayam Sattva Samshuddhir Jnane Yoga Vyavasthiti. Out of all these gunas, which do I have? Abhay. Am I really fearless? So every word of Gita, we have to compare that with our existing life and then try to see whether we are living life as per Gita or not. As I say always, Pujya Swamiji always says, Gita padhe padhaye aur jivan mein laye. So every shlok that we are studying in Gita, we need to at least examine and find out, are we following this message of Gita in our life? If not, can we try to do it? That should be the way of learning Gita. Merely learning pronunciation, okay, it's good to learn pronunciation, but merely pronunciation will not bring Gita in your life. We need to understand what Gita is asking us to do. Gita is an encyclopedia of our human behavior. So we need to understand, if not 700 shlokas, at least some selected shlokas from each adhyaya which are related to our day-to-day life. That will decide our future destiny, what life we are going to have in future lives, future births. Okay, any other question, please?
Sushila Didi.
Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna.
I just want to ask that we know that we are soul and body is going to perish, but even then, when someone dies in the family, we do grieve. बहुत दुख होता है. So how can we manage that? Because we are not going to see him again.
Yeah.
We are so attached to their bodies, our body. So
yeah. See, it is not wrong to express our grief when some near one or dear one passes away. But it is entirely wrong to keep doing it permanently.
that
For a
we
few
don't
days.
that we don't do.
So for a few days, for a few hours, if you are expressing your grief on passing of someone, it is well justified. What God is expecting in Gita is that your main purpose of life is not to keep grieving for something else. Your purpose of life is to grieve about your own situation first. Why I have come back to this human life again when Paramatma had given me a chance to come out of this human life and become one with him by attaining moksha? Why did I fail in my previous life? Why I have to come again here? So Gita says this is ashubh for us, inauspicious for us to keep coming again and again in the human life, not taking this opportunity to gain the moksha. So that focus point should never be lost. That is what the Gita is expecting. Other activities of expressing grief or showing happiness, that let it continue the way it is going on today. But don't get totally riveted into it. Don't get totally wedded to those thoughts permanently. Permanently, the thought to which you should get wedded is only this, that attaining Paramatma is the sole objective of my life. Rest everything will keep coming and going.
That's what I want to know, what we are going to get in moksha. That is also not clear.
Moksha is you become one with Paramatma. In the Vishwarupa Darshana Yoga, Arjuna saw all the devoted souls as a part of that Vishwarupa. He could see a lot of rishis, munis, groups of them, sadhaks there. We don't know if you are a good sadhak and if you become attain moksha in this life after 2000 years. If Paramatma shows again his Virat Rup, maybe you will be seen as a part of Paramatma in that Virat Rup. You become a part of Paramatma. That is what moksha is. Becoming one with God, becoming one with Paramatma.
I want to bring improvement in me. In the morning, I get up at 3:30. Do this puja, learn these shlokas. Then Sanskar channel, Valmiki Ramayana is going on. before that, Upanishads were there, Satya Prakash, all these regular. I'm regular thing that. Firstly, I used to write in diary also, but now I stop because I don't get time to read those. But I have written.
Okay, okay.
So these days I don't write. I just see and try. But I feel very nice during that time. That time is for me only 3:30 to 6 o'clock.
Oh, great.
After that, there's so much work to do, and even now I am sitting. Other are doing that throughout the day. She's busy with this.
Very nice.
I want to do social service also the way everyone is doing in Geeta Pariwar. I also feel
Very
like
good.
doing that,
Very
but
nice.
I'm not able to do this only. I completed Pathak exam. Within 1 year, I did all this. Firstly, I didn't attend any class, but I started Gunjan. First time I couldn't find out Zoom. I didn't know how to do that. So with YouTube, I did, and I passed Gunjan and Jigyasu. One day I had some difficulties, so I made phone call. She said, "What is your group number and level?" I didn't know anything about that level, and because I'd never attended any class. So she said she gave me level. Then I started from third was about to finish.
Okay.
Then I started standing class.
So, see,
Now
this
I'm
thing
able to-
keep happening when you are offering seva. Some such thing keep happening. So you are on the right track to get your queries clarified and continuing the seva. That is what is expected. If you have any other questions about Gita, then we can discuss that.
Okay, Vijaya Didi.
Namaste, Guruji. You talked about the 5 mental afflictions. Can you just tell me what this abhinivesh is, please? Is it abhinivesh, one of them? Avidya, parigraha, rag, dvesha, and the 5th one?
Can you refer to the shloka that we have discussed in context of what?
You talked, I think, in the 24th one, you talked about the 5 mental afflictions. And you said one is rag, rag, dvesha, parigraha, avidya, and the 5th one, is it abhinivesh? Is there a word like abhinivesh?
Yes, abhinivesh, yeah.
What is the meaning of it?
Abhinivesh is the desire to live. That is abhinivesh. That I don't want to die. I am so much glued to my life that I always want to live.
So it's like
Even if I'm
attachment.
Yeah, that is attachment to your life. That is abhinivesh.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Sejal Didi, unmute yourself, Didi.
Jai Shri Krishna, Bhaiya.
Jai Shri Krishna.
Bhaiya, my question is, as you said about karma,
Hmm.
so what is good and bad karma? Because at a large picture, sometimes speaking lies is also considered as a good karma.
Yes.
So what is the criteria of the good and bad karmas? I just wanted to know about it.
See, when we go to Adhyay 4 or Adhyay 3 rather, we'll know that to find out whether the karma is good or bad is not so easy. Even very, very jnanis, very, very scholars, great people also cannot find out whether this karma is good or bad. For example, if somebody is performing a puja of goddess, so external outwardly, you all appreciate that he is doing a sattvic karma. But if the purpose behind performing puja is that he wants to attain something in his life, he is expecting something in return of that puja, that does not remain a puja, it becomes a sakam karma. So that sakam karma will put you under bondage. Next level is if you are performing that puja so that your enemy or your competitor in business, he suffers, he comes on the road, he becomes bankrupt, then that is becoming tamasi puja, which will put you under even more bondage. You may go to the lower level of species in the next life. So by merely seeing at karma, it is impossible to know whether this is sattvic karma or rajasic karma or tamasi karma. the feeling, the bhavana behind performing karma, that decides whether you are doing a sattvic karma or rajasic karma or tamasic karma. If you are performing your karma without any selfish intent, without any selfish motives, then that is sattvic karma really. If you are doing karma expecting something in return, then that is a rajasic karma.
So, Vaidya, that means trading any karma that leads to a trade between you and God. It's not a something like called good karma. Any selfless deed is a good karma.
Selfless is a good karma. Exactly.
Okay.
Whatever we perform for ourselves, that becomes a selfish karma. Paramatma says this is not correct. The body, mind, intellect, senses is given to you by Prakriti, by samsar. You have to use those instruments for seva of samsar, not for your own seva. Those who use it selfishly only for themselves, Paramatma says, you are not doing justice to your human life.
Yeah.
Okay.
Understood. Thank you, Vaidya.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bhaiya. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to you for this wonderful thought-provoking session. Whatever you have imparted the knowledge, it's a challenge for us to apply it in the daily life. Next, I would like to thank each and every one of the sadhakas for attending this session today. And we'll be meeting back again in the next week's enlightening session. I also thank the very hardworking and very vigilant technical team for their continuous efforts for making this session a great success. And now in the end, it's a time for offering the prayers again in the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. For that, I would like to invite Sunita Agarwal ji from Bangalore, who's a homemaker, and she has interest in teaching. She's educated as BSc Honors. She joined Geeta Pariwar in January 23, and she's giving seva as co-trainer. She's also giving seva in the Shlokang classes as a co-trainer. Welcome, Didi.
Jai Shri Krishna. Yogesham Satchidanandam Vasudevam Brajapriyam Dharma Swanstapakam Veeram Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Jai Shri Krishna.
Thank you, Didi, for this beautiful prayer. Now it's the time for Hanuman Chalisa.
श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज निज मन मुकुर सुधारि बरनउ रघुबर बिमल जसु जो दायक फलचारि बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरौ पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेश विकार जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीस तिहु लोक उजागर रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन बरन विराज सुबेसा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा हाथ वज्र और ध्वजा विराजय कांधे मूंज जनेऊ साजय शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबे को आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सिहि दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा भीम रूप धरि असुर सहारे रामचंद्र के काज सवारे लाय सजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुवीर हर्षि उर लाए रघुपति कीनी बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरत ही सम भाई सहस वदन तुम रोज सगावै अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावै सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा नारद सारद सहित अहिसा जम कुबेर दिगपाल जहाते कवि कोविद कहि सके कहाते तुम उपकार सुग्रीवहि कीन्हा राम मिलाय राजपद दीना तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना जुग सहस्र योजन पर भानु लील्यो ताहि मधुर फल जानू प्रभु मुद्रिका मेलि मुख माहि जलधि लांघि गए अचरज नाहि दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते सुगम अनुग्रह तुमरे तेते राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे होतन आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे सब सुख लहै तुम्हारी सरना तुम रक्षक अंतक काहू को डरना आपन तेज समारो आपै तीनों लोक हाकते कापै भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवै महावीर जब नाम सुनावै नासै रोग हरै सब पीरा जपत निरंतर हनुमत बीरा संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावै मन क्रम भजन ध्यान जो लावै सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा जिनके काज सकल तुम साजा और मनोरथ जो कोई लावै सोई अमित जीवन फल पावै चारों जुग प्रताप तुम्हारा है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा साधु संत के तुम रखवारे असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे अष्ट सिद्धि नो निधि के दाता असबर दीन जानकी माता राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावै जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावै अंत काल रघुवर पुर जाई जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई और देवता चित्तन धरई हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई संकट कटई मिटई सब पीरा जो सुमिरै हनुमत बल बीरा जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई जो सत बार पाठ कर कोई छूट ही बंदी महासुख होई जो यह पढ़ हनुमान चालीसा होय सिद्धि साखी गौरी सा तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा की जय नाथ हृदय महडेरा पवन तनय संकट हरन मंगल मूर्ति रूप राम लखन सीता सहित हृदय बसहु सुर भूप सियावर रामचंद्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय।